Hi, everyone. It's been a minute since my first ever podcast launch. Now, I had to go through some ebbs and flows and figuring out what can truly work best for me. And I feel like now, as I'm stepping into the flow and being dedicated to want to continue to post my podcast episodes and feeling this spark and ignition, I want to say I think I got it down the first time around. There were a lot of trials and errors, which allowed me to want to go through this long rest cycle because, girl, yeah, it's a lot having to figure out what works, what systems I can kind of like integrate. How can I make this workload a lot easier for me to? Yes, but give me a second, okay? Can you close the door for me, please? Thank you. I love you. So I just want to put that out there because I am on fire. My heart's on fire to want to bring on many, many other guest speakers and to spotlight them and hear their stories and just create this community. I would love to get back into YouTube again. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for your support. And thank you for tuning into this episode today. Before I play this episode, I just want to say shout out to Sterling. It was such a juicy conversation. Hi, baby. I know. I told him give me like 5 seconds, 5 minutes. Yes. Yes. Okay. I love you. I love this. But yeah, I just want to make this real quick before I play today's episode. But we discuss our personal journeys and experiences with self-expression, healing, relationships, and it feels amazing and wonderful. And I'm just so happy that I got to meet in person with one of my soul sisters from my Dharma Coaching Institute programs that we did together. So I am now a certified Dharma coach, and we both graduated from the Dharma Coaching Institute. And I'm so beyond, this is like a podcast episode within itself. But to preface, I just want to say that this was kind of a unexpected but divine aligned like experience for me and Sterling to record a part 2 to my podcast. And I just am so appreciative of her and her husband Chase for, allowing us to continue to do it in their home and just having them film on their equipment. I'm just grateful for, because there's a lot to you're not just sitting there to record, but, having to edit, put it together, and then sending it off. But I really hope you guys enjoy today's episode. I really hope it hits home for some of you, and would love for you guys to also connect with Sterling here in Las Vegas. Without any further ado, here's episode 2 of Mary's Fairy Tales with my guest, Sterling Torress.
Hi, you guys. We're here in Sterling's beautiful home. It's us again. Sterling, I would love to have you introduce yourself. But before you introduce yourself, I just want to say Sterling is such a beautiful light and soul sister, and I'm just so grateful and honored to just be in this moment, space, and time with you. So let's give a round of applause to Sterling.
Yes. Likewise, sis.
I know you chatted with me earlier, but maybe you could tell like our viewers your journey. I would love to have you share your journey from being a soul purpose coach, from you shuffling before, like the bridge, and like finding the little breadcrumbs along the way for you to be here today.
Oh my God, yes, I love that question. Yes, so I first started out playing sports in high school, and it was like the one pivot in my life that I came out of when I was, being in rebellion, just like you. Yes.
You guys gotta watch her podcast first, and then come to this one.
Yes, this is the continuation. But yeah, I did sports, and then later went into nutritional science. It's kind of like got paired together because I loved working out. I loved what it did to my body, and so I fell in love with nutrition. And I graduated with my bachelor's in nutritional science, and shortly after started my personal training business, which then segued into an online fitness coaching business. And then I fell in love with shuffling because I saw someone do it right, before my eyes at a fitness expo. So that's when those paths crossed. I fell deeply in love. And I remember going into the bathroom at that fitness expo with my best friend, and we were just there and we devoted right there in the bathroom. We held hands and we looked at each other and we're like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this. We're going to become shufflers and we're going to work for this energy company. And so that's exactly what we did. It was like 6 months later that it took me to get recruited by that exact company.
That's fast.
Yes.
Oh my God. So I celebrate you and your friend. Like, that's beautiful. I love that.
Thanks. Yes. So that's how I got into shuffle dancing. That just became like it was like a devotion to myself. I didn't grow up with a lot of I did grow up with confidence, but I didn't grow up with the ability to be fully expressive and be fully myself and fully loud with my Leo moon.
Leo moon?
Mm-hmm. Are you a Leo moon? That's why. That's why. We're just putting the dots together. We're just connecting them. This is why Mary and I get together.
I know. Oh my gosh. That's, wow.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
What's your rising?
Virgo.
What's
yours?
Cancer.
Cancer rising, Taurus sun, Leo moon. Gemini sun, Virgo rising, Leo moon.
Wow. I can feel the Virgo in you. Virgos are like very structured, right? They're very,
you know what? I feel like I'm structured, but like also not, you know?
Also not.
Like in human design, most of my arrows point right.
Really? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's right. What is it? Is it your top two?
So all arrows except my bottom left. My bottom left points left. Oh my God, we have to dive into that.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, my arrows point from the top, both top out, and then the bottom ones point in.
Ooh, so you're good, like 50-50. Do you feel like that fully like resonates too with the I forget again the two right arrows. I know we talked about this before.
Perspective and awareness.
I would love for you to even like maybe like guide me with the arrows, because I feel like I'm still learning that, and I love hearing your take on.
Yeah, so I believe it's the digestion in the top left corner arrow, and then the bottom one is scheduling or environment, and then top right is your awareness, and the bottom right is your perspective. Or are those flipped?
That's what I get confused on. Is like awareness also like manifestation?
Yes. Yeah, I think awareness is the top right.
Okay.
Yes, and then the bottom one is perspective, which is more of like being fully aware of like a zoomed out lens of everything and how you see the world. That's how I kind of digest that. So mine are pointing to the right. The things that I digest in the top left corner is pointing left, so that means that I am very structured. Very I need to eat the same things. It needs to be like just consistent, cohesive. But then my environment points to the right, which means that in the way that I eat them is super just in flow. You can ask my husband too. I forget to eat. I forget to eat anything. I can go like all day without eating. Sometimes I'll eat right away. It's just very intuitive, and it feels authentic to me.
Yeah.
What about you?
I love that you said that, because I'm like also imagining my two arrows. So my top left arrow, which you said is digestion, right? It points right. But my environment, the bottom left arrow, points left. And I notice with my environment and how I like thrive when I have some kind of structure, having my non-negotiables. I love having my non-negotiables, like I have to gym and stretch in the morning, or if I don't, I'm like, huh, what is life?
Yeah. Oh my God. So we're opposite.
Yeah, we are opposite.
Oh my God.
And then my two are right, I think. Yeah.
Yes. The right. And mine's right, left.
Right, left. Yeah.
Yeah. I notice with the stuff that I digest here, like in my schedule, like just in general, what is it? It points left. Yeah. I need to have my meditation practice. I need to make sure that I have some solitude. If I don't have that in my day, I genuinely feel so disconnected.
Oh, okay. So that leads me to this question then. I would love to invite you to share any maybe like tips or like things you like to do, rituals as well.
Yeah.
To maybe someone who is wanting to incorporate more of that into their life and like on their healing journey, what would you say? What steps do you like to do to feel that to ground, basically?
Yeah. Yeah, I love that question because I think about maybe someone who is just starting out, maybe feeling a little lost. I think tuning in, getting used to tuning into yourself, getting used to asking, what do I need versus what do I want?
That's so good. The need
Yeah.
versus want.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like for me personally, I feel like I've always been really intuitive, but I've noticed like with someone like my husband, someone who's not as like in tune spiritually, really struggles to have those questions. I'm not really sure like what's his and he's a projector, so just fully takes on all of my energy and doesn't know how to discern what's his and what's not. So I would first start with asking yourself what it is that you need and kind of leaning into that and maybe checking with your senses and tuning in, something that goes inward, right? Like how much are you putting out and how much are you putting in? If you are over consuming, if you are taking inventory, if you're over consuming, if you're over gossiping, or what are the things that you're digesting? Does it feel like you're outputting more of your energy versus like checking in and taking that inventory? So that's what I would say to start. In terms of actual rituals, I always lean into my meditation. I love meditation. I also love journaling. I love journaling. Today, I actually was doing some chanting, some singing, and that felt really resonant and it felt really beautiful.
Yeah. Oh my God. What do you do for like chanting and singing? Are you singing like alms or?
Yes. So the one that I did today, I actually got it from a creator. Her name is Hitomi. She's on YouTube, an incredible creator who's very tuned in, but her chant goes,
Oh, I love that. Okay, teach me.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a fun little.
oh my God. So we can go, so it's like,
Oh, you're gonna have to go slower.
So I studied meditation and I graduated from the Chopra Institution.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
So I want to know more about that too after this question.
Yes, and so so her doing that, and I saw her doing singing with her friends. That's something that I definitely want to get into more. I think that's so special.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. I love that. We'll have to do this in our women goddess circles. Yeah. Wait, so you were you said something institute?
Yes, the Chopra Institute.
Institute.
It's a meditation certification for primordial sound meditation.
I love that.
Yeah.
So for those maybe wanting to get into certain rituals, what would you say maybe they can do? Or like, I know you said with the chanting and the singing, would you invite them to do that like in the start of their day, or like what feels good for them?
Yeah, I love that. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think even just humming, like we don't have to say, oh, namaha, just feeling the vibration in your mouth. When you're activating your throat chakra, it actually activates your vagus nerve and it completely turns on your parasympathetic system. So doing like humming or something that vibrates off of your mouth, anything would work. Even if it doesn't make any sense, even just walking, like I love doing this in the morning when I'm like making my breakfast. I'll just go like, make things sound weird, but make noise, take up space. And I think even like I'm thinking about someone who might even feel awkward with that idea. Just starting, like, being familiar. I would ask yourself, why are you so awkward with listening to yourself, your own voice? And I know that's a real thing for people to be scared of hearing their own voice.
No, I love that. I feel like that really invites us to be in tune with ourselves and like get to know ourselves a little bit, even though maybe it'll feel weird at first, but like what you said, it opens up that like throat chakra and relaxes, you said, the vagus nerve. I also love what you said, just like taking up space. Now, we follow each other on Instagram, and I love seeing your reels of just you like authentically just showing up. It's so inspiring to watch and see. So I would love to know, like, taking up space. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
The way taking up space started to come up for me was when I started to do shuffle videos, specifically shuffle videos, being on camera. It was like I was having an internal battle with myself. I was really struggling to bring I'm a visionary archetype. So of course, right?
Yeah.
I'm a visionary artist, teacher. And so coming out of fitness, I was so comfortable being in front of the camera with fitness, but when it came to dancing, it was a little bit more rigid and more like it created a lot more friction within myself. And so what it really was, I was really confused why I was having anxiety attacks in front of the camera. Chase, my husband at the time, was boyfriend, was trying to help me with these videos, and there would be times where I would be so scared of being looked at. It wasn't even that I looked stupid. That was not my concern because I wasn't that good at shuffling at that time. It was, I just felt so deathly afraid of being seen. And that led me to think, why? If I want to create a video, if I want to dance my heart out, why am I stopping myself? Why am I having this anxiety attack? And so being the rebellion that I am, just naturally devoted to, I don't care what it takes. I'm going to make all of my visions come to life. And so it was like every video that I posted, everything that I was creating was an act of self-love. And I was no longer going to play small. And then that led me to go into deeper healing and realizing that with my trauma that I experienced growing up, that's what I learned. I learned how to cope like that, to make myself small.
I love that. I relate so much to what you just shared, just showing up for ourselves authentically and like asking those questions, like, why am I so afraid of being seen? And for me, it was, why can I not look at myself record? Getting over that. And so I love your take and your share on that. Now, for those maybe trying to get to the next steps of embodying that, what would you say is like, you know, maybe certain things they can do to practice feeling comfortable in being seen?
Yeah. So what I did with my showing up on social media and doing the videos was exposure therapy, just regulating the nervous system, allowing my nervous system to adapt. So that's definitely that's definitely the angle that I took it at. And I know for a lot of people, it's not going to be that easy. That's my Leo moon. My Leo moon's just do it, just rip off the Band-Aid. So
yes, just go for it.
Yes.
I feel like Leo moons, it's like, just do it, like the Nike sign.
Yes. And I would honestly say it's surrender. Just be in surrender. Whatever it is that you're trying to get through, just embrace the ache, embrace the weird, embrace the fear, and fully be in it, because there's no skipping. If you try to skip, you're always going to come back to the same point.
That's so beautiful. I would love to know too, what would you say was maybe like your hardest thing you had to overcome? Maybe it has now become maybe your life motto for this year, or what does that look like for you?
Well, I would like to say a couple of things that I've overcome. A lot of it was my sexual trauma that I had growing up with, family members that I trusted. A lot of weird, concentration around a certain age when I was like 14. That was definitely the most influential. That affected me the most. It affected my sex life. It affected the way that I showed up in the world. And I think also in the same breath, I somehow think I attracted it. All the challenges that would surface after those traumas, even prior to those traumas, I had always had this innate fear around being taken advantage of. As my mom she had 6 children, so she was a single mother. So, I watched her be harassed by men. We didn't live in the best neighborhoods. So I watched her be harassed, and she'd teach me, what to look out for, how to look over my shoulder. And so that was when I was like, I swear the moment I came out of my mom's womb, she had always been like ingraining that you can't trust everybody. And rightfully so. I've had many situations where that saved my life. And also it fucked me up so much. And I would say the most recent challenge that I've overcome was my mourning of my version number 1 of my marriage this year. It's been like this whole last year of overcoming, evolving, growing, and, giving grace to my partner for also growing and evolving and not being perfect. And getting on the other side of that, I think, became my greatest strength, because it was like my dark night of the soul. I learned what it meant to fully love unconditionally, something that was not shown to me growing up. And I learned how to also love my mom unconditionally, which helped me heal me and her together. And I was able to actually tell my mom about my sexual trauma with my stepfather. So it was a very long time coming, and it made me so strong.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And it must be, you probably felt so many kinds of emotions leading up to that moment. I can like fully relate and resonate with what you just shared, just finally coming open to my parents about what also happened being essayed at within the family. And I feel like this is like one thing people don't really, I feel like now it's becoming more aware, but usually it happens within the family. That's for most cases.
Yes, that's so true. Yeah, I think there's like a study on, I don't even know the ratio, but like almost all of the sexual assaults that happen are someone in the home.
Yeah.
Someone that you trusted.
Someone that you trusted. Family. It's always family, relatives. So, wow, thank you for sharing that and just seeing the everything that you just overcame. And even with your marriage, you said version 1 of your marriage. So I would love for you to can you maybe like elaborate more, like what maybe challenges too have you guys kind of gone through to come out to this version 2 of your marriage now?
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of it is when you're pursuing your purpose, and his purpose is music and mine is to fully teach people how to express themselves. And I think when we are chasing those things, and where we have to look in the mirror and look at our shadows, it's just chasing your purpose and being in relationship with your business requires you to take a look inside and take inventory. And so that's kind of what happened, was they both had to look and see these, dark spots and, unclosed pages, and really see that we are the ones that are holding ourselves back. And I think with my marriage specifically, we really fell in love over music, and we fell in love because we knew our purpose.
Passion. You both had that passion and devotion to.
Yes. And so when it came down to like chasing this dream, and then you start to ask yourself, like, what's happening? And then you start to think, like, especially with social media, I'll even mention this too, with social media teaching you, I think social media teaches us divorce. It's like divorce. What is that word? Oh my gosh, it's slipping my mind.
Divorce.
It's like it's all like divorce content of like, oh, like fuck that friend if she screwed you over, like boundaries, like no, like get rid of the toxic energy. And that's kind of what happens with relationships, is like, oh, he doesn't want to pay for your dinner, cut him off.
They kind of, in a sense, I feel like social media like twists, or like, I don't want to use the word like perverted, but like it changes, like, I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say? Like it changes, like
it takes a different angle.
A different angle, yeah, where it's not like really that feels like very true.
Yeah.
Mainstream media, social media really plays a part in like just corrupting, like.
Yes. Yeah. And so kind of like that demeanor of like, oh, like he's the toxic one, like gaslighting.
Yeah. Not even really seeing like, maybe you could be a little toxic too if you're pointing it out.
Yes,
right?
exactly. Not being willing to look at inwardly, like how am I actually calling this in? And so that kind of dynamic of me realizing, is my perception being morphed by consuming what ideal relationships, the man paying for everything, the man supporting the woman, being in your soft feminine, your hyper feminine, like it's so toxic, because then you just forget to take ownership. And there's times and places where you take that leadership in your relationship. And I truly believe that in a marriage, you're together and you're a team, and one of you shows up for the other one, maybe 70%, the other one's 30%. And there's a phase of that. And for me, it felt like I was showing up 90% and he was, going through his thing. And I didn't realize that he was just going through it, like mentally was just going through it. And so what really helped us was going through couples therapy and just really understanding that he's just not vocal. He's just having an internal world. Yeah, that's kind of where that allowed me to understand. There's a man named Mark Groves. He talks about the version 1, version 2. So there's a version 1, there's a pause, and then there's a version 2. So you have your version 1 marriage, where these rules, the rules that are laid out, why you're getting married, why we love each other, goals. And then there's a pause that happens when you start to change your goals, your values. And that's when you get to decide if you get to continue together. Because, something like a non-negotiable, like you want a child, maybe that partner doesn't want a child. That's a big deal breaker for someone. So when you take that sacred pause from one another, you're really reevaluating your individuality, being sovereign, and understanding this next level. You know, we just turned 30 this year, so it's like such a big milestone. We met each other at 24. So yeah, that's how we stepped into our version 2, was just really understanding like, you need your space, I need my space. This is what I need from you. And there was definitely moments where I thought like, we have to call it quits. Like, I just don't know how else to do this.
Oh my God. I love like everything you're sharing.
Yeah.
But I love that you shared couples therapy too. So tell me a little bit about that. Were you both willing to go couples therapy? Was it one person who had to drag the other person? What can you maybe give advice to our couples out there too?
Yeah.
And me.
Yeah, I mean, I think initially I definitely was like, we need to go through couples, because I was convinced I was going to walk away, right? I was just like, there's, you know, I think that's when like definitely there's a moment where you have to really think about, if one person's not willing to grow, there's no relationship, you know? You both have to be willing. And so he was willing, even though he didn't like it. And then, yeah, it became, for me, it was more about trying to just have clarity, because if I was to walk away, this needed to be something that I'm very clear that I gave it my all, you know?
I love that.
Yeah. So I think anybody who might be resonating with my story, yeah, it's just realizing if one person's not willing to grow, if they're not choosing you, because it is a choice every single day, it's a choice to be with this partner, then there's no relationship. And if they are choosing you, if they are still showing up for you, it's just there's that little bit of anger, resentment, judgment, whatever is there, and go dive straight into those feelings and come from a place of love, and know that this thing that you're dealing with is not, it's not you against him, it's actually you guys against that thing.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. Oh my gosh, I just loved everything you shared. Just marriage, coupling, therapy, what you guys did from version 1, that pause to 2. Like, I love what you just shared. So many gems just dropped.
I didn't think I was going to share about my marriage, actually.
That was beautiful. Honestly, just to hear that is very refreshing to hear, because I feel like it's so normal, and so, different seasons, we become different people. And it's like constantly having to date that person all over again. And I would say, just to share a little bit about me and my partner Kiana right now, I'm very much into my healing journey, my spiritual journey. And sometimes when we do have conflicts, she thinks I'm coaching her. And it becomes this thing. And
that's so funny, because I literally get the same thing. I promise I'm not doing it on purpose. It's just natural.
It's just natural. And sometimes I always take inventory of like how I was. I always go within and like see. And I would say, yeah, your partner is like your biggest reflection, your biggest mirror, your biggest trigger. And so I just loved everything you shared. It was really insightful, and I definitely want to dive into this with like just reading the book and seeing how me and my partner, because we've come to this stage in our relationship where kind of like this like hump in the road, realizing that, like, having to self-regulate, and how can we be better and like hold each other in like where we're at in life. Following that, I would love to just dive deep into just where you're at today, and who were you? I know you asked me this, and I thought it was such a good question. So who was the past Sterling? Who was that version that pushed you and allowed you to go to that, the depths to be here today? After that, I would love to know, like, what would you say to your inner child? Like, what would you say to her?
When I was 22, this was me working at a restaurant. This was probably, I was 22. And so I was walking around the restaurant, and there was like a table of men, probably about 12 men. They were just probably, looking back, they were probably just having fun. But they were staring at me, like doing the whole up and down. And like, I
like
felt
the
really...
cat whistle.
Yes, I felt really ostracized. And feeling ostracized, my nervous system, I went into a complete fight or flight. And so I ran to the restroom, and I just had a full anxiety attack. And I remember being there just crying in the bathroom stall, and I was like, I will not live my life like this. And so I cracked open The Power of Now and by Eckhart Tolle, and I did a bath, actually. It was a bath, and I completely unraveled and finally grieved over lack thereof, my mom's presence, my stepfather, the abuse, it wasn't abuse, but it was the experience with my stepfather and like many other layers there. Finally grieved everything. And I remember laying on my bathroom floor. I had just taken a bath. I read a couple pages of The Power of Now, very profound things that made me click things. And so then I just laid on the floor and I just poured everything out. And from that moment on, I meditated in my bathtub every single night. Every single night I read the book, I meditated, and I completely just started to shed that layer of myself.
Wow, that's so beautiful. You know what came up for me? Like, it seemed like it was you were cleansing this like old belief, and like it became like this initiation into your journey. So
yes, that's exactly what it felt like.
I love that. Now, what would you say to what age would you say?
Oh my God.
What would you tell her?
It made me cry, actually, because she's in the townhome where I dealt with that potency of like neglect and abuse, and she's crying in the bathroom. I just visited her in a meditation. She's 14 and she's just pouring her eyes out, and all I'm doing is just sitting next to her and telling her, I love you. You're good enough. Oh my God, I will literally cry.
You're bringing up so many feels for me. I love that you said that you basically quantum leap back in time as the person you are today, going back to you said your 14-year-old self, and just being there, holding her. And that gives me like such like body chills, because we talked about a little bit about plant medicine, shrooms, and my relationship to shrooms is one of just like honor and like just pure honor of this plant medicine, for all its glory. And I remember I had microdosed by myself. I always love to set the intention, and I went into this powerful like meditation. I don't even know what to call it, but like was on the bathroom floor, and my eyes are closed, and I can see myself, like my adult self in that moment, experiencing that time and space, going into, and I could see my house so vividly, as if like I just transported there. And I could see my 6-year-old self in that room on like the floor, like just like this against the bed on the floor, and like just being that parent for my 6-year-old self, and just holding her and telling her that everything is going to be okay, and that you are so loved. And just, it was so healing. I just remember crying and like bawling my eyes out, and I could feel like my womb space just like releasing. It was tight, but it was like releasing all this energy. And it's so true. It's so true that we can quantum leap realities and like change stories in our timeline.
Yeah, and self-soothe.
Self-soothe, yes.
I love that you said that that was your position, because that's my 14-year-old's position too, against the bed with her head like and just like cradled.
God, I love you. My soul sister. I would love to ask you, we've been in our DCI group, our Dharma Coaching Institute program, for coming up now. We're basically almost done. I think we have 1 week left.
Literally 1 week.
Next week, right? Yeah.
6 months.
6 months. Wow. Tell me, I would love to know what transformations, what dark nights of the soul, what ebbs and flows have you experienced with just being in this program and saying yes to DCI being a part of your journey?
Yeah. Well, I think in the grand scheme, bigger ebbs and flows was having to tell my mom about all that I experienced with my stepfather, and that was during our break. But I think just like in the micro moments that I had, needing to show up as this authority and, being able to express myself in that standpoint, versus my shuffle dancing where I can just, be fun and creative and be that artist. But now I've truly missed being that teacher archetype, being that researcher too, and showing up as the speaker that I've always been yearning to be. So I think throughout the 6 months, I've really learned how to surrender to those moments of doubt, embrace them, hug them, because I'm still going to do this, and I'm still following through, and I'm showing up and going through those moments of doubt on the other side every single time, especially with having our community on the other side, has always met me with so much more abundance.
Can we just talk about our community? And that's so beautiful, Sterling. Like, I want everybody to know that Sterling has just been such light in our program.
Mary.
I was like, when are we going to get in a pod together? I was like waiting for the time, like, we have to get into a pod together. It's gonna happen. It's bound to happen. And I'm just so grateful for the divine timing. I feel like both you and I also went through some dark night of the soul during our break. So
We did. We literally connected, and you were like, I just went through a dark night of the soul during our break. And I was like, girl,
me too.
are we twins? What's happening?
Wow, I just love all of this. With our DCI community, like, I feel like we both can talk about this. Just how beautiful it is to just be held by like soul sisters and brothers, and to acknowledge each other's light. And like, this support system that we have, it's healing.
It is. Even there is because we meet up twice a week, and if you have to attend, if you miss anything, you miss a good chunk of stuff. But there would be moments where, one Tuesday or a Wednesday, you just don't feel like coming on. And then you just do it. You go online.
You feel so much better.
You feel so much better. Recharged. It's so igniting. And it made me realize how deep community can go and how much we need one another.
Yes, we need, just as much as we need our solitude and our time alone, we need that healthy harmony of being in community, being supported by one another. And so all that to say, like, I would love for us to envision this like women's goddess circles. I just love, we were talking about this earlier, but just the synchronicities of what we've just been experiencing. And I love that you share, like, before I came. I'll have you tell this.
Yes. Oh, yes. Before Mary came over, I was in the bathroom and I had a download. I heard it in a sentence. What if me and Mary started hosting circles here in Las Vegas? And we're going to do that. And I'm so excited. You heard it here first. Yes. We are going to be hosting goddess circles together.
Let's do heart.
Connecting it now.
Yes. Putting it out there in the ethers. It's happening.
Yes.
I want to know what has maybe these past now, ever since our break, been like for you? Where are you at now today?
Now I'm at working on my coaching business, just, wanting to reach more people, working on the podcast, and continuing to dance. Absolutely continuing to dance. Embracing that more. I thought for a second that I'd have to leave her behind, but now I'm taking her with me. Just continuing to be creative and finding new ways to integrate all the many multi-dimensional layers that I am.
Yes. And now, where do you see yourself in the next year? I would love to know, do you plan on maybe traveling and doing maybe shuffling classes like outside of like Las Vegas, doing like going on tour? I would love to know that too.
Yeah, I don't have a tour planned, but I do have a lot of plans of, going into the route of hosting goddess circles, but just getting really deep into that. And yeah, we'll see what comes on the other side. I have some stuff planned, and I'll tell you off camera, but I really want to just continue to dance and share shuffling with the world. I think it's such a great impact. Anybody who shuffles, like if they come in and they're in a bad mood, if they shuffle, they come out smiling ear to ear.
Okay, one of these days, I want you to teach me.
Yes, I will.
I would love to like just learn, just to like be more coordinated with my feet a little.
Yes.
I think that would be a really fun like video moment to
we should do it. Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. Now, Sterling, I believe maybe you asked me on your podcast, or maybe I just told you what my life motto is for this year. Maybe you can share with our viewers, what is your life motto in general, or if you want to be more specific, like your life model, your word for the year.
I would say this year my life motto has been structure creates freedom.
Structure creates freedom. So good.
Yes.
I love that so much.
Thanks to our mentor, Anita. She really pressed that in. And I really, truly see that so much. Being an artist, having structure is just not, natural. Having that now, I feel so much more clear, so much more focused, and know where I'm going.
100%. I could say like structure creates more freedom. This plays a part with me being like a solo entrepreneur with lashes too. Like I have to be very structured and dedicated to my non-negotiables, but also being a solo lash artist and having those, I guess, certain times during the day. And I don't think there's nothing such as like balancing in life, but like how can I create more harmony? I feel like balancing things in life is very
it's unattainable.
Yeah,
that makes more sense. Harmony, I like that.
So good. Okay, I had another question. It was
the angel numbers.
Thank you. You got me.
Yes, my angel number, my star number is 17. I have it tattooed on my side. Ooh. It's also my birthday, May 17th.
I love that.
A little basic there, but 17 is my number, and 777 and 444. 444 is actually the Phoenix rising, so rising from the ashes.
Yeah.
I love that one.
And when did you start noticing this angel number in your life, this 444? And let's go with 777 too.
77. Yeah, so when did I start? Oh my God. Well, I started noticing angel numbers I would say in my late teens, early 20s. I didn't put two and two together until after I started meditating, and that's when I was starting to see more of the numbers. And 444 really clicked for me this year, especially when we said yes to DCI.
I love that. I go crazy over angel numbers, so I love that for you. Now, how about 777? I know 777 is like luck, but I would love to know when did you start seeing this number? Story and resonance do you have with this special number?
Yeah, okay, so maybe the last time I saw 777 was probably, I want to say 2 days ago. My thought process was thinking about having circles.
No, me too. Because I was just sharing on Sterling's episode that I wanted to do friendship circles and have a ice cold plunge and hand pan drum and a whole just ceremony of just wholesome bonding. What is maybe in the past what were the habits you were in before that got you to just tell me whatever comes through for you?
Oh my God.
Especially us living here in Vegas, and we know what the Vegas scene is like, So let's sprinkle some fairy dust on that.
I think I was very fortunate to have a very strong-willed mind on being focused in my studies, but I definitely had my moments of rolling and being at raves and taking acid, and I might still catch myself doing that, who knows. But I think at the time, there was just I had everything for a reason, for a season. And
yes,
I think back then, I was just going to raves, staying out, and it started
being
affecting
feral.
Yes, being having my feral years. But I think everything came in for a purpose. I definitely tapped into my flow state being on psychedelics, but there was a time to put it away.
Ooh, okay. Following that, I love what you said because I resonate so much. And plant medicine. Talk to me. I want to hear some plant medicine, shroomy mushroom stories. I want to hear it all. Maybe your journey with what was your relationship like with shrooms before, and what is it like now? And give us a story too, if you feel the call.
Yeah. The first time I took shrooms, I took it at a rave. I didn't like it. I felt very heavy, I was very slumpy. And I think progressively I kind of intuitively figured out that I didn't like doing shrooms at events. I remember I did one really nice meditation shroomy night with Chase, and all we did was listen to the Beatles. We had
Stop!
lights and we had the Beatles playing, and like we just closed our eyes and just meditated through the whole thing. And that was like my relationship, like healing my relationship with shrooms, no longer using it as a party outlet. It became like a sacred act. And now my relationship with it is I do microdosing. So I'm off the cycle now, but I loved taking microdosing or microdose of mushrooms and yeah, opening that up.
I love that. Maybe you could share with our viewers who also maybe want to have a better relationship with shrooms. Tell us. I would love to, like, what is your microdosing regimen like? What does that look like for you? How can maybe you, give us maybe your tips and tricks and everything you like to do when it comes to microdosing and how you utilize it in your everyday.
Yeah, so I would definitely, I don't want to mislead anybody on like the dosage, but when you can get a microdose, definitely research it. I do a rotation of 4 days on, and then I'll take about 3 days off, and then I'll just restart the cycle.
I love that.
Yeah, and I don't drink coffee with it. That's very important because I think me personally,
I feel
when
like
I drink,
it mixes.
yeah, I feel overstimulated.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll be daredevilish, and I'm like, oh, it's okay, and then no, it doesn't work.
You're like, it's different.
Yeah, it's very.
You know, I would love to share a story with you of this one time I microdosed on shrooms when I was with my ex-husband. And so we took it, and then I went to go shower. He was playing his video games. And I remember I felt like I was in my own little portal because when I was showering, I saw like I was standing in the middle of like this colorful mandala. It was divine. And then when I stepped out of the shower, you know, like the mirror gets like foggy in certain areas. It was getting foggy in certain areas and clear in some areas. And I could just see this mandala, like rainbow effect going through, right? And then I stepped out and I just felt a lot of heavy energy. And I was in my like my faith, my spiritual journey, but very in the beginning stages too. Still questioning a lot. And then he had played us maybe like a guided meditation or something. So we're laying on the bed. My eyes were closed, but I could see the room. Yeah. And I could see these fairies, and like it was just like it felt so like beautiful and divine, and like I felt like I was almost going to like astral project out of my body.
Wow.
But in that same moment, Sterling, my ex-husband, he like stopped me and he's like stop what we're doing. And it instilled this fear because I saw fairies, he saw like gremlins like luring him out. So we both had the same experience but different.
Wow.
And I didn't know what it meant before. I just thought, whoa, this is weird, like how we both experienced the same thing but different. And like kind of like sitting on that, like what is going on? And then this whole fear just came over me because I was feeling his, you know, like fearful energy. And
like he was resisting almost.
Yeah.
Because I think when you start to trip, you start to like, especially in the first time in a while, you start to see the restriction that you have on yourself. And the more you resist, the more it persists.
Yes, exactly. And then it wasn't until like, later in this walk of my devotion and healing, like,
wow,
you know, we just had different, we were both vibrating at different, so it's just crazy. Like, I think that's why I'm like, I have this thing with fairies now.
Yeah.
And like, I love that. But yeah, I'm like, I love that my name is Mary because it rhymes with fairy.
Yes, I love that. Oh, that's the background on Mary Fairy.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, so
That's so nice.
Honestly, shrooms are, I love that you love shrooms. I love that we have this beautiful relationship to plant medicine. You've talked a little bit about meditation. So I would love to like ask you, what does that look like, and how can maybe myself and even others, how can we maybe incorporate that into our practice? Or like, how can we start? How did it start for you? And tell us what you do now.
Yes. Well, for me, it started in my bathtub crying to the power of now. But I think, you know, when we hear the word meditation, we think, you know, having to sit still and think of nothing. But it's actually closing your eyes and seeing what's happening behind and taking inventory. So when we can take inventory and be still on the outside, I think that's meditating. So that can happen when you're washing the dishes and just paying attention to the slow movements of the water and the sponge and the soap and the suds, and even lighting a candle and just appreciating the flame and anything that takes you to the present moment. So stimulating your senses, walking with no audio, no podcast, nothing, anything that kind of brings you to this, connects you to your temple, is the extension into this 3D world.
That's so beautiful. I love that you said even walking too, because I love going on hot girl walks, and I feel like I get a lot of just like downloads. And I'll share a little story too, but on my hot girl walk, I also got another download because I was kind of going through something with my dad, and I was like, I would love to also then make family circles.
Oh my God.
If you notice, I'm sure maybe you experienced this with your family too, but you guys get together, maybe the uncles are like, I don't know, or your family is like drinking and like watching football or something, and like we're all there, but we're not present with each other. And I, coming back home to remembering and honoring that our parents, our family are also human beings too, and how can we maybe just bond more and like have this like wholesome connection.
This was such a potent
This was good.
conversation. I didn't even know, like, what? We just go places.
We journeyed, we flowed. This is therapy. Yes. Sisterhood is therapy.
Yes. Yes, sisterhood is therapy. Absolutely.
Okay, Sterling, is there anything you want to share with anybody watching this episode? Anything on your heart? And afterwards, please feel free to share where people can find you. And we'll end it there. Take it away.
Yes. Oh my gosh, please dance. Please just go dance. Just move your body. Put on your favorite song. Maybe in middle school you had like a playlist that you would cry to or you would scream to. Just play that old song and just let loose by yourself, especially. And y'all can find me at Sterling Torress. That's 2 R's and 2 S's on Torress on all channels, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and check out my podcast called The Wavy Self. And yeah, come to a shuffle class in Las Vegas. That would be so fun.
I'm there. I love it. Oh my God, Sterling, I love you. Thank you for just this time and moment and space of us connecting and being together. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Wow. All right, you guys. I hope you just enjoyed everything we just shared. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to our stories. And I would love to hear from you guys. Down below, I will leave all of Sterling's offerings and how you can get connected with her, as well as mine. And would love to know, what is moving for you? What is your maybe life motto for the end of this half of the year? What is your life motto? What has been your life motto? Would love for you to share. DM me on Instagram. Let's connect. Until next time, I will see you in my next Fairy Tales episode. Bye. I just hit my arm on the table. Love that for me. Bye, you guys.